Every single day, I get dozens and dozens of questions regarding Social Security. One of the questions I've been getting a lot lately is regarding the Social Security Cost of Living Adjustment, or COLA, for 2024. Now, I want to give you a very important Social Security update for today because we are starting to hear more and more lawmakers discuss the cost of living adjustment and how it is calculated. So, if you have any questions on any of this stuff, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But also, if you can and you have 2 seconds, go ahead and hit that like button if you wish your cost of living adjustment was calculated better. Because one of the biggest issues that people are facing is that the cost of living adjustment currently is not actually calculated with using the things that the elderly are actually spending money on. That is a very big problem. Now, here's what I can tell you. According to the Senior Citizens League, they say that the Social Security cost of living adjustment for 2024 could actually be less than 3%. Yes, less than 3%. Now, that is obviously very problematic because if we have inflation which is over 3%, then obviously you are getting less than what it's costing you to pay for the same things, whether it's food, your shelter, energy, it doesn't matter. Again, it's a huge problem. Now, here's the other thing. Immediate following the highest increase we've seen in 4 decades, and we go from 8.7% down to 3%, that's a huge miss. It's a huge loss. Now, just to give you an idea of how big of a increase you would get if you got a 3% adjustment. Right now, the current Social Security average benefit amount per month is $1,827. And let me know in the comment section below, do you get $1,827? Because that is the current average, but I can guarantee the majority of people are not getting that. So a 3% increase to that amount equates to about $54 a month. That's what it is. Now, here's the problem. And this is why this is such a big update, is because currently lawmakers are trying to figure out ways to reform Social Security. Do we increase the full retirement age? Do we increase the Social Security tax cap? Do we increase the Social Security tax rate? These are all questions. Or what else can we do to better serve Social Security recipients? Well, here's what we do know. Currently, the discussions regarding how the Social Security cost of living adjustment is calculated, this is one of the big things that people are wondering. Why do we continue to use something called the CPI-W to determine the cost of living adjustment when there is something called the CPI-E? This is the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. That is what the E stands for. So why wouldn't we use that? Because the CPI-E specifically is targeting people that are 62 years of age and older. That's how it weights the categories. Again, the biggest difference between the CPI-W and the CPI-E is that CPI-E, each price index is weighted differently. For example, medical care services could be weighted heavier in CPI-E than it would be with the CPI-W. And that's why many lawmakers are pushing for this. Again, the reason I bring this up is because lawmakers are currently discussing ways to improve Social Security. But how can we improve Social Security without improving the way the cost of living adjustment is calculated? Can't. And so, this is the very important thing. According to reports, using the CPI-E calculation would mean that Social Security recipients over the past, historically over the past 2 decades, historically, we would have seen a 0.2% increase on top of your cost of living adjustment. So instead of an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2023, you would actually have received about an 8.9% cost of living adjustment. Or it could have been pushed all the way to 9%. So, here's what lawmakers are currently discussing. They want No, and some Republicans would want to raise the full retirement age, which would obviously reduce spending for certain people. But Democrats say no, that's not an option. We know that many Democrats want to tax the wealthy and use some of that money and that revenue towards eliminating the possibility of insolvency within the next 10 years. Republicans say no, we can't increase taxes. But at the same time, Republicans would increase taxes if that is the only option. But if we're going to increase taxes here, let's reduce spending there. That's what Republicans want. But many lawmakers are now saying that we need to raise the Social Security tax cap or raise the overall tax rate. But if we do either one of those things, for one, raising the tax cap would be mean President Biden would have to go back on his word that nobody making less than $400,000 per year would see a penny more in taxes. The same thing if we raise the tax rate, especially if you make under $400,000 per year. But how do you do that? Well, that's where things become difficult. But according to reports, the easiest decision should be that we need to have this renewed discussion of switching the way the cost of living adjustment is calculated and get rid of the old ways of the CPIW and switch it with the CPIE. So, the reason why I wanted to bring you this, because these are the discussions that lawmakers are currently having. And again, this is, I think, extremely important, because if we switch from the CPIW to the CPIE, this means that you would likely see a higher cost of living adjustment moving forward. And if you can, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you think this is a good idea. Because again, elderly spend more money on things like shelter, on food, okay, on medical care supplies and services than somebody that is 20 to 40 years old. So going off the exact consumer price index for the elderly, where they will weight specific categories higher, that is a good thing. That is a must. You think elderly are spending the majority of their income on clothing? No. On sporting goods? No. They're spending the majority of their money on food. They're spending it on utilities like energy. Okay? They're spending it on things like medical supplies, medical care services, right? Prescription medications. That is what they're spending their money on. Not travel, not airfare. That's not what the elderly are doing, especially if they're on Social Security and only have $50 to $150 left at the end of the month. So, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I think a lot of people right now are pretty upset that we haven't seen changes to Social Security when everybody's been talking about it. When everybody said that 2023 is the year of Social Security. But the truth is that if it is, why haven't we seen anything done yet? Well, I've discussed that in the past, and my guess is we're going to see something very soon. But that is what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.